Hello, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond. My name is Taylor, and welcome to Potion Tycoon, the brand new management simulator game from Snowhound Games and published by Daedalic Entertainment. So, for full disclosure, I was gifted a code for this game. It's through Press Engine, so thank you to Press Engine and Daedalic for the code. As per usual, I will not let that affect my views of the game. And unfortunately, this game did release on October 1st, and I was gifted a code shortly at the end of September. I recorded the footage, then got sick, then my mother-in-law came out and have just been very busy with work, so unfortunately I'm not recording the audio for about a month afterwards. So I've had some time to kind of sit with the game, get my opinions through it, and I want to really disclose that I do not have a lot of experience with a lot of these types of games, especially kind of the management simulator games, so I very quickly was overwhelmed, but that's just a personal thing. So they let you make a logo there, and you know what? They got the maple leaf, and I was like, oh, they got the maple leaf, they got the color scheme. Oh, we're gonna go Canadian on this, eh? So I made the brew table. Well, the brew table, eh? And I decided, you know what? They're gonna give me a cabinet. I'm gonna make some potions, and I'm gonna sell them. Now, the big thing about this game is there's 3 factions, and each of these 3 factions, they want something different. Them folks down in Ontario, they want something. Them folks in Saskatchewan, they want something. Them folks in Alberta, now they want something different. Now, let me tell you, those guards, they from Ontario. They're a bunch of hosers. You don't want to deal with them. They're nothing but trouble. The Thieves Guild, or the Rogues, or whatever they are, they're from Saskatchewan. They're an okay bunch, but not much going on up there. But then the mages, you wouldn't expect the mages to be from Alberta, but they're good old Alberta boys. They want what you're selling. Not at first though. At first, I was really struggling to just try to get my business off the ground and figure out what's going on, because there was so much happening. So they give you a basic potion that you can start working with, and the Thieves Guild were like, all right, we'll take it, we'll buy it, and I was like, okay, good. And then it's like, okay, build the potion makers, you gotta build the bottling plants, you gotta build the cultivators to make the plants, to then, make them into potions. You gotta hire people like clerks, and botanists, and maintenance guys, and brewers, and it's a lot to take in. So, it kind of, walks you through the tutorial, you sell your potion, you get your people, and you start building up their skills. And the idea is, as people work certain jobs, they'll start leveling up, and then you can upgrade their skills in that job and they'll become better, and then you gotta pay them more. Basic management stuff. Then you start getting into the nitty-gritty of things. You can build different parts onto your shop, and you can go above ground or you can go underground. Now, what I discovered later on is I shouldn't have gone above ground for my production. I should have gone underground for my production. So later on I did go underground, because the above ground is the only place you can have your housing for all your employees. You can have places to sell things, and I very much was very confused by that at first. So I really set myself up for failure on the first run. Probably going to a bit of a newfie now. So anyway, I start making some money, but then I start losing money, and I'm really confused because I'm selling the potion you told me to sell. I'm putting up posters to try to get it to sell more, and it's being outweighed by my general costs. So I start taking out a loan. And I'm like, okay, let's make a different potion. So then I start experimenting a little bit, and I will give this game credit. You can really dig into some of these potions because each kind of plant comes with 4 aspects of it. Now, some will change the effect, some will have a negative effect, some a positive, and you can cut and slice vertically or horizontally to get either half or a quarter of the plant to then really mix up and make interesting potions that different factions will want. Now, I made a potion that the mages loved, and I loved the mages for it because they were giving me them dollars, them loonies. Oh, she was a beaut, bud. The problem was, I was making money, and then I wasn't, and I was really confused as to what I could do to make more money, so I expanded, thinking, if I get more production going, if I get more sales going, I'll make more money, and it just wasn't happening, and then I had to pay a debt back, and I paid the debt, but then I still had more loans out, and it started getting to the point where they were saying, hey, if you don't pay your debts back, you're gonna get, we're gonna foreclose on you. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do there, bud? I'm following a quest you're giving me. I'm going, making all the Tim's runs, doing everything you've asked of me, and I still can't get my head above water. And I don't know what's happening. The game will give you quests to follow with each faction. Them Ontario folks, just don't even get me started. They're too sloppy Joe short of a barbecue, let me tell you. Them Thieves Guild, they're okay, they don't pay much, and they liked the initial potion, but I just couldn't get something that, all the factions liked, or that really took off with any of the factions. Outside of the Mages Guild, they loved the potion I made. I can't remember what it was now, but they were keeping me afloat for a while, and it's just, I got so confused and overwhelmed because I thought, if I follow the one quest chain, maybe that will give me enough money to kind of keep going and keep the right doggies on my back. But no such luck. And I was just so confused because I didn't understand how I could be making more money or why my expenses were consistently or seemingly consistently increasing day on day. Now, I understand that as I level up my employees, they would cost more money, and that's totally fine. That makes sense. I can see that happening. But it felt like the increase wasn't proportional to my employees. It felt like there were other increases that I just wasn't aware of, and maybe there was building upkeep or construction upkeep that I didn't keep in mind, and it was just it was a lot right off the bat. And I didn't get into some of the more complex mechanics like, as I mentioned, splitting ingredients to make different potions, because I decided, you know what, I'm gonna kind of speed through these days, try to figure out, can I make a basic business model work? And it just was not working for me. Now, I think for the right kind of person, this game will be fantastic. You'll love it. Oh, she's gorgeous. But you gotta like the management, the tycoon aspect of the game. Even looking on Steam, it's only got, 500 reviews total, and overall the reviews are mostly positive, but the recent reviews are mixed. So I do have to wonder, kind of, is this game more for the hardcore or more the entrenched tycoon management style gamers? And is it really new player friendly? Because again, I have minimal experience with this type of game, so I understand it may not be for the one for me. And it's just, you can't just throw you can't throw a guy on a dig site right away and be like, all right, get to it. So I fully understand that, and I fully recognize that I am not necessarily the target audience for this game, but it did not seem very welcoming for a new player. The tutorials, this one was a tough one, because the tutorials, and I'm reading some of the Steam reviews right now, were both very instructional, very a lot, but also not helpful enough, because it explains a lot of things to you right off the bat, and it feels very overwhelming all at once. So I feel like they should spread that out more and just explain more of the mechanics, because to me, again, I was just left so confused. And I don't know what I could have done differently to have a better impression of the game. Now, again, I do think that if you're maybe a more comfortable with this style of game, it might be for you. You might love it. It might be your game of the year. Questionable. But I do want to fully, disclose that it retails for $26.99 Canadian or your original equivalent, so I would assume about 25 US. Them Americans and their real money calling ours monopoly money. Anyway, them folks down south of the border making their meth and all that. So, could I recommend this game? Not really. You can't just throw a guy on skates and tell him to play in the NHL. That's not how it works, mate. You gotta work your way up, you gotta play the Little League, you gotta play the Timmy's League, you gotta get there. And the game doesn't help you get there. It doesn't want to welcome new players, it seems like. And honestly, I've never really seen the point in a sandbox game like this where there's no objective. Yes, your quote-unquote story is to kind of get to the most successful tycoon, potion seller, alchemist in the land. And I just didn't care. Man, I told him they could go pound sand, bunch of sandbaggers. It's not worth it to me personally. But I don't want to put down the hard work that was put in by the dev team. But yeah, I really don't think this is for new players or players that are not interested in the simulation and management style of game. If you are, honestly, you might enjoy your time. I'm really not sure. With all that in mind, I'm sorry about the terrible accent. I know it's been all over the place. I can't maintain one for nearly long enough, especially to do a full-length video like this. I say full-length, it's not even 10 minutes. So I hope you haven't clicked off yet. If you haven't, thank you, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, for sticking around through whatever that was. I do have, I think, one more little indie game to come out, and then I'm really slowing down these days on YouTube, and I think it's just more a consequence of work getting busy and life getting busy. So we'll see what happens, and I'll see you in the next one, whenever that happens to be. Bye-bye.